with Chapter 3 coming to an end and our time as Sprite Runners being over. Well, I know it's not over because like Sprites are coming back next season, but this season's theme. I think we all have one question. And it's, how did he just take that 0 point out of the extractor? You can't do that when somebody puts it in. Well, okay, I think the actual question is, what does Fortnite do with sprites? They were a huge success, but were they actually a net positive for the game? And also, why do gem sprites suck so bad? Welcome to my review of Fortnite Chapter 7, Season 3, Runners. Is this a mid-season new map drop?
I'm very aroused.
And with a new map comes new POIs. Let me know which POI you think has the best new discovered location sound. Let's meet our contestants. New Orleans. We have Miami at home. Never mind. Fall with the buildings. A shopping plaza and I don't know, ice. A little lake town with a lighthouse. A car repair shop? You already know where it is. And a vacation place in the snow. Don't forget to comment which one you think had the best sound. It was Calamari Canyon. And now it's time for the loot pool. Starting with the assault rifles, we have the Chaos Exploder Rifle. At launch, this gun was very OP through a series of nerfs throughout the season. By the end, pretty useless to borderline just okay. Next is the Surgical Burst Rifle. At launch, not a very good gun. Through a series of buffs, end of season, probably the best all-around assault rifle in the meta. Next, we have the Warforged Assault Rifle, and it's really just an SMG disguised as an assault rifle. So if you're using a close range, I like it. Otherwise, it's pretty much unusable. Lastly, we have the Spire Rifle for the assault rifles. It was unvaulted July 30th, and it became the Chaos Exploder Rifle pretty much after the Chaos was nerfed. But again, I still think the Surgical Burst was the best assault rifle of the season. Now we have the bread and butter of Fortnite, the shotguns. Starting with the best one, the Chaos Reloader shotgun. It was sadly vaulted 5 days into the season.
What's that? It's Squidward. What's he doing here?
Up next is the Extending Focus shotgun. In Zero build especially, this was probably my favorite shotgun, at higher rarities at least, though I still wasn't disappointed with the pump. But at higher rarities, I was okay with this gun. It was pretty fun to use. Speaking of the pump, we have the Striker Pump shotgun. Debatable first or second favorite shotgun. It's a pump, we all kind of know what they do at this point. Lastly, we have the Maven Auto shotgun, and I think this explains it pretty well. One of the most inconsistent shotguns I have ever used. Higher rarities are a little better, but honestly, I just don't trust this shotgun, and I will try to use anything else if possible. Now we have the best guns of the season. The Ranger pistol and the Lancet pistol, either one honestly fantastic. The Ranger might be slightly better, but either way, you give me one of these high rarity, I'm going to love you. The last pistol was the bank shot pistol, and it was kind of like a gimmick weapon of the season. I mean, it was fine. I don't know. I don't really find it that appealing. You could like bank it off the ground for a damage boost, which is cool, but not very practical, I feel like. Next up are the SMGs, and the Flex SMG was vaulted July 16th. Stinger SMG was vaulted July 30th. So that left us with the Rapid Fire SMG. Yeah. Lastly, I wanted to bring up the 7 sliders. They are a great movement item, and I appreciate the mythic ones being limitless. It was great just flowing all over the map for as long as you want. I know there are a couple things I didn't mention for the loot pool, but honestly, this was pretty much the core. Overall, this loot pool was pretty good. Most things were nerfed pretty reasonably time-wise. Pistols were still pretty strong overall, but, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about that. They were fun to use. And with that, we've made it to the main event of the season. Sprites. You gather them in the match, you extract them or win with them, you add them to your collection, you get them to level 5 to master. That's the general premise of Sprites. Each Sprite has an effect, variants add on to that, and that's more of the complete system. I want to start with a brief tier list. I think I will upload the full version of it on my channel as a separate video, just so this review doesn't spiral out of control. But with that, let's get into this brief tier list. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. These are going to be in order, so I am ranking it last to first. And this first category is basically how did somebody come up with this and why was it allowed to be put into the game. Coming in last will be the Punk Sprite. Possibly nothing or infinitely something. I'm going to say infinitely nothing, because I don't need infinite ammo after I eliminate like 2 people, so this Sprite is completely useless. Next up, we have the Llama Sprite. Opening ammo boxes has a chance to grant a weapon upgrade. I don't know even really what to say about that one. I had it pop up once and I was in a hurry and didn't even click the notification, so I missed it. So just terrible design and execution. Gross. I'm just going to show the rest of the tier list and talk about some, starting with the next group. Got to complete the collection, or in other words, basically the collection just has to get filled out and they are part of that collection. So especially the Dream, I almost put it in how and why, but you know, I guess if you get a legendary piece of gear, awesome. But Batman and Vinny Jr., I just don't find their abilities all that useful. Our next category is barely useful. Pretty self-explanatory. The Duck, Water Sprite, if you need shield, I guess they're nice. You're not gonna drop, you know, a Sprite above them for it, but if they're on the ground, pick them up, use them, whatever. Same with Burnt Peanut, I guess. You'll pick him up just so you can maybe get some loot if you elim someone. 0 Point is really good in 0 build at some instances because it helps with providing some cover to heal. In builds, it probably just gives you away, so I don't really know how useful it is. King Sprite, again, they kind of flip-flop. King is not really useful in 0 build, but in build, you know, it's good for breaking builds and maybe hitting somebody in their box. So that's why they both kind of balance out to being barely useful in my opinion. Same with the Peely Sprite. If you're looking for variants, it's useful. If you already have everything, it's useless. Even so, I don't know how great, you know, having your location revealed is as a trade-off for maybe being able to find more rare sprites. And then we're going on to the useful. And now, you know, from useful up, these are the sprites I would consider good additions to the game overall. The Demon Sprite gives you a Siphon. That's awesome, though it's not too much, but higher levels it's not as bad. The Aura Sprite is nice because it gives you the Hop Rocks after you do enough damage. Lower levels, you have to do quite a bit. Striker Sprite is nice. The reason it's not higher is because of the Air Sprite. It's basically just a better version, and you don't have a requirement of having to do something to activate the overdrive effect, in this case for the Striker. The 7 Sprite showing enemy footsteps, it's fine. It's, I guess, sort of useful. It could be useful in certain scenarios, but I just don't find it to be that impactful. The Fish Sprite, you get the movement boost if you take damage and swim faster. Really, the second half of that ability is saving it. The swimming fast doesn't really matter all that much. And then the Fire would have been in the how and why originally, because the fire just exploded around everywhere and you just took damage if you were up close to the person. Luckily, they changed that and just have it explode on the person. So with that, it's actually kind of useful now. And then top tier, we have the Iron Mouse Sprite, which is you automatically start healing when you get low, and you have Cloak and I believe 0 grab jump when you are healing. So that's actually quite useful. And I'm pretty sure at level 5, it gives you full 100 health back. The John Wick Sprite lets you see any other enemies around someone you knock, which is very useful. And then starting with the top 5, at number 5, you have the Ghost Sprite, which lets you become invisible when you reload, which is actually quite useful. The Grim Sprite, highlighting people when they tag you, also extremely useful. The Polio Sprite being the best healing Sprite, I think. After elimination, you get shield regen for you and any of your squad mates if they're nearby, which is fantastic. Number 2, the Air Sprite, best mobility Sprite by far. You get to run faster, jump higher, and you nullify fall damage, which is insane. And then I think the number 1 Sprite is the Boss Sprite, especially at level 5. You just get a base of an extra 50 health in your total pool, which is insane, and that stays with you the whole game. You do have to get a little bit of extra healing for it, but it never goes away, so it's pretty fantastic. I go into the variants and obviously all of the sprites way more in my actual Sprite video I did. Like I said, I just didn't want to make this video ridiculously long for that when I already have something separate for it. So that should be up pretty close to when this is up too, so feel free to go watch that after you finish this, if you want to see more of my thoughts on the sprites and the variants. Looking at the bigger picture, it's clear sprites had a huge impact on Fortnite. You can see the player count went up and stayed up the whole season. I think sprites will actually work better as the secondary focus. Each season still having its own mechanics and special things, with some sprites thrown in every season that are new as well. I think that's going to be their sweet spot, but I still think they need to make sure they're not just throwing them in to throw them in, and that they have useful abilities and don't get boring or repetitive or stale. But I mean, I don't think Fortnite's dying otherwise without sprites like other people say or anything like that. I think they're still fine, but I do think it was a big boost for them, and I want to say the story also helped. I might be talking about that later as well. With that, we come to the end of another Fortnite season. We have Override coming up very soon, and it looks good, but I don't know what you think. What did you think of Runners? What do you think of Sprites? Do you think it's a good idea moving forward? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. And come hang out in a live stream on YouTube or Twitch. Have a good one wherever you are. And most importantly, don't forget, Jesus loves you. Peace.